So once again, I want to welcome everybody and thank you for joining our data science info session today. So before we get started, I want to share a little bit of information about who we are. So this is the UCI Division of Continuing Education. So UCI DCE, we offer courses both on campus and online traditionally. However, due to the pandemic, we have currently moved all of our courses fully online, which grants a lot of flexibility for students who either have um, different work schedules, or if they are joining us from all across the world, they're able to join us for our online classes, which has been a really exciting journey for all of us. We offer courses in STEM, pre-med, humanities, business, and social sciences. And we welcome students and professionals from all around the world to enroll into our courses. To find out more information about all of the courses that we offer, you can always go to our website at ce.uci.edu. So specifically who we are, my name is Amy Kim. I'm a program coordinator for technology programs, along with my colleagues, Julie Pei, who is an assistant director for technology programs. We also have Tiffany Ruvalcaba, who's a program coordinator as well. And we manage the various technology programs that we offer at UCI DCE. And we're happy to talk to you at any time if you have questions about either the data science program or any of the other programs that you may be interested in. Moving along, this is just the general session outline for the data science program information session. It's very simple and straightforward, but we mainly wanted to introduce the new data science program that we have, the new program requirements, and address some of the questions that students have, whether you are a new student for the program or a current student. We wanted to be able to share some insight and answer some of your frequently asked questions. So we'll begin with the data science program information and share a little bit of information, shed some light on our prerequisites and how that affects you. Additionally, we'll have a FAQ session at the end and also a Q&A session. Jumping right into it, this is the UCIDC data science program requirements up to fall 2020. So as you can see, you are eligible to receive a certificate after completing 15 total credit units in both the required and elective courses. There were 2 required courses, that's the Introduction to Data Science and the Data Exploration, Analytics, and Visualization course. So after completing both of those required courses, you would have completed 6 credit units. And then students were then required to complete the additional 9 credit units needed by completing any of the elective courses that were available on our website for enrollment. That included Introduction to Python Programming, R programming, Effective Data Prep, Tools and Techniques for Machine Learning, and other courses that you may remember from your own program, but didn't have space to list it all here. So what is our new program requirements? So one thing that stayed the same is it's still 15 total credit units in both the required and elective courses in order to receive your certificate program. However, the required courses have changed. So you'll see a total of 5 required courses. That's Fundamentals of Data Science, Data Engineering, Big Data Analysis, Advanced Visualization, Introduction to Machine Learning, and then we have some additional elective courses such as R Basics and Cloud Computing Essentials. Now, some of these courses may be familiar to you, and some of them they may not be familiar to you because you have already completed these courses. Now, if you direct yourselves to our continuing education website, this is the webinar we're currently in. On our website, you may notice that under the required courses, you've noticed something called this org. So while we have these 5 required courses, students have the option to take one of the courses available under a specific subject. For instance, if you have previously taken data exploration, analytics, and visualization, that can actually be a substitute for the advanced visualization course. Additionally, for those who have taken tools and techniques for machine learning, that's going to fulfill the machine learning requirement of the data science program in lieu of the Introduction to Machine Learning and AI course. Now, going back to our data science program, as I mentioned, it's a total of 15 credit units in both required and elective courses. Now, with our new program, you may have noticed the prerequisites that we have at the top. So in order to really hone in and focus on what is important and what is being used in the data science program, we've created the 5 required courses to ensure that all the students who complete the data science program are really touching on all of the key concepts that are required and expected of working data science professionals today. And in order to complete these processes, we expect all students in the data science certificate program to have the fundamental and background knowledge in introduction to Python programming and practical math and statistics. These are crucial skills that will be required in order for students to be successful in all of the subsequent courses in our program. Now, these are prerequisite courses, and what that means is these credit units are not going to be applicable towards your data science certificate requirements. So if you were to complete the Introduction to Python Programming, those 2 units will count as prerequisite credits and not be applied towards your 15 total credit units. So again, to reflect back onto our data science website, as you can see from here, our data science certificate overview page gives you a general idea of what our data science program is. We have some helpful links and some additional information here. This is actually where you'll see our data science webinar posted later as well. We also have our program coordinator information, which is myself, listed here if you have any questions at a later time. And then down here, you can see these are the prerequisite courses that are listed. That's the Introduction to Python Programming, Practical Math and Statistics, and then the required courses listed here. And any of these elective courses that we currently have listed are available for you to enroll into to apply towards your data science certificate program. Okay, so moving right along. Some important information. If you're a new student, how do you get started? Well, it's actually quite simple. So hopping back over to our website, we do recommend that any new student who's interested in starting our program do start off with the prerequisite courses. So once you've determined the course you'd like to enroll into, you'll locate the quarter. So right now we're in the winter quarter, which means all of our courses have already begun. They're not open to new enrollments. However, we are opening up registration for our spring quarter, which is going to begin in late March, the beginning of April. So once you've located the course in the correct column, you can go ahead and click on that green online button, and it's going to take you to the course information page. It'll give you more information about the course itself, including specific details to that class offering. Additionally, it should provide you information about the instructor, any textbooks that may be required, and what the meeting schedule may look like. Once you've decided that this is the course you want to enroll into, all you have to do is click that green enroll button and complete your registration with the UCI DCE account. All right. Now, for students who were previously our students, sorry about that. I know there have been some questions about how the new program is affecting you now. Now, as I showed you previously, we've got up to fall 2020 and then up to winter 2021. Actually, before I address that, I want to address one more thing from our important information, and that's this right here. Now, it's important for all students who are interested in receiving a certificate in the program to declare candidacy. Now, the declaration of candidacy is just like an application of sorts to be a candidate in our program, and it does include a $125 candidacy fee. You just pay that fee one time, and it's just stating that you're interested in receiving a certificate in our program. After you declare candidacy and you complete all the courses in the program, you'll make the additional step of requesting a certificate, no additional fee, and that's just going to kick off the process so that we can go through and make sure you meet the requirements and complete the steps of issuing the certificate to you. Now, if you're not interested in pursuing a certificate, can you take just one or two courses? Absolutely. You don't need to be a candidate in order to enroll into any of our data science courses, let alone courses across our UCI DCE platform. Just be sure to pay attention to any course prerequisites because they may prevent you from being able to enroll into the course. Now, going back to declaration of candidacy, it's important because for students who are current data science certificate program candidates, if you declared candidacy prior to fall 2020 or fall 2020 and before, then you are still eligible to receive your certificate based off of the old certificate requirements. So that means that if you've already completed the Introduction to Data Science course, data exploration, or advanced visualization, and the additional elective courses, including Python programming or practical math and stats, you may still be able to receive your certificate by applying all of those credit units towards your certificate. However, all new students who are becoming new candidates and new students in the program, they will be um, completing their program based off of the new program requirements, which are the 5 required courses that you see here, and then the additional 2.5 minimum elective credit units. Okay, so that pretty much covers it for explaining what our new program is and how it affects our new and our current students. Do we have any questions? I'm not seeing anything in the Q&A, and I'm not seeing any questions yet. But while I give you some time to think about any potential questions you may have, I did want to bring your attention to an upcoming webinar. So we thank you for joining us here today about the data science program info session, but we do have an additional one, and it's going to be exploring the field of data analytics. It's one of our technology programs as well. And in this one, we're actually going to have a panel of our current data science instructors and advisory board members, and they'll be able to shed some insight on the data analytics field, which may be of interest to you.
Hi, Amy. So there is a question in the Q&A. Miguel is asking, how many courses can you take per quarter?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, especially having an online class, it grants a lot of flexibility for our students. Now, that being said, we do recommend that for a student who's just starting out in the program, maybe hasn't taken classes in a while, we do suggest that they begin with one class just so they can get a feel of what the time requirements may look like and also to see if this is something feasible for their personal schedule. Afterwards, we find that most students who are either working full time or may have other personal responsibilities, they take anywhere from 1 to 2 classes a quarter. That doesn't mean that you're limited to that. Students are able to take as many courses as they'd like each quarter, as long as they meet the prerequisite requirements.
Thank you. We have another question. Can you take the prerequisite courses in the same quarter?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, if I'm understanding that question correctly, if you are interested in taking those true prerequisite courses, so that's Intro to Python and Practical Math and Stats, then you can definitely take both of those courses at the same time because those courses do not have any prerequisites. However, if you're interested in taking, for instance, Fundamentals of Data Science, let me go ahead and pop over. If you're interested in taking fundamentals of data science, now you'll see that the prerequisite for this course is practical math and stats and intro to Python programming. You would not be able to take this course concurrently with one of the prerequisite courses. You would need to complete that course, receive a satisfactory grade before you're able to enroll into the next course. Great question.
Thank you. Great question. So we have a few more.
Mhm.
What if someone completed the Intro to Data Science course, do they need to take the Fundamentals of Data Science course?
Absolutely not. So the Fundamentals of Data Science course and the Introduction to Data Science course, those are interchangeable and in a sense a substitution of each other. So if you've already completed that Intro to Data Science course, then you will not be taking the Fundamentals course because it will kind of be a repeat of concepts that you've already learned and taken in the previous course. Now, if you would like to retake the class for personal reasons or because you're just interested in retaking that class, you're more than welcome to enroll into it. Just understand that it's not going to apply towards your certificate.
Okay, perfect. What are the differences between UCI's continuing education courses and the regular UCI program?
All right. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by the regular UCI program, but if what you're referring to are the courses that they offer at the UCI main campus. So for UCI, they actually have undergraduate and graduate degrees, and those are for matriculated students. Now, the cost of these programs, the admission processes, and the durations, so the length of time that you will need to complete, along with the administration of the courses, are going to look different because you'll be in a different type of program. So just like being in a graduate program doesn't look the same as being in an undergraduate program, a certificate program looks a little bit different as well. So for our certificate programs, as you can see, they're much more condensed. So you're able to complete it in a shorter period of time. Our students are non-matriculated, which means you don't need to be locked into this program for a certain amount of time. There's a lot more flexibility for our students. We actually have some students who begin taking classes and then life happens, a pandemic happens, and they have to take a pause on their classes. It's not difficult to do that, and then they just pick it back up when the time is right for them.
Perfect. A question from Laura.
Mhm.
Do you need to take the prereqs if you already have those skills?
That's an excellent question, Laura. Now, we understand that, especially in this day and age, students have received or they're able to gain these skills through sometimes unconventional means, whether it's through their work experience, through self study online, or because they have already taken some of these classes during their undergraduate or graduate studies. So, if you do meet these prerequisite requirements, then we you do have the ability to enroll into these courses. But if you're unsure about whether you're able to bypass these prerequisites or not, in any case, we highly encourage you to reach out to one of the program coordinators, such as myself, and we'll be able to provide more in-depth guidance for your personal situation.
Perfect. So Kristen asks, are the online courses live sessions or are they online at the student's discretion?
Yeah, another great question. So you'll see a little bit of both. I will say all of our courses are fully online, and students will still have the flexibility to access the course materials at their own pace. And even within that, I do want to have a little caveat because there are deadlines that are enforced in the classes. So you can't come in week 8 and hope that you can catch up on all the materials. There are deadlines scattered throughout the course. However, that being said, um, some of the courses may choose to implement online synchronous sessions in the form of Zoom, kind of like what we're doing now. But any of these sessions that we do have will be posted on the student schedule so they're able to see and anticipate these sessions that are happening. Plus, all of these sessions will be optional and recorded. So even if you can't attend the live session while we do highly encourage all students to attend it live so you can engage with the instructor. You can always go back and view the recording at a later time.
Absolutely. And I do want to add just to Amy's comment a little bit. I think she did already cover this, but we do actually have deadlines for assignments. So, for example, if you're in week 1, you watch those videos, you attend the live session if there is one, and you complete the quiz if there is one. The assignment is usually due at the end of the week. So, if the course begins on a Monday, then the assignment is usually due on a Sunday. Now, we do understand that students sometimes need flexibility, but it is very easy, especially in this new program. It is aligned towards industry, so we do work on several projects throughout the courses. And so we do ask our students to try to be as on time. And we do definitely dock points if they are late, only to be fair to the entire cohort. So a question, do we pay for the whole certificate fees at once, or do I pay for the registered courses only?
You pay for the registered courses only. Now, on our website, you do see that program cost up at the top. That's just an average cost. We've estimated it based upon the cost of the courses and any materials or technologies that you may need to pay for related to your course. However, it is an estimated cost. We provide that so that students can have an idea and they can plan for it, such as if you're planning on applying for a student loan or receiving other funding options. However, when it actually comes down to the payment, students are only responsible for the cost of the individual course at the time of enrollment. So going back to Python programming, if you go ahead and click on that course, then you're responsible for the $820. There are no additional fees. There's no credit card processing fee tacked onto that. It's just the straight 820. I will mention that students have the option, if they choose, to purchase a net ID, and that's just $10 per quarter. And you have the option to purchase that at the time of enrollment as well. That net ID is essentially a UCI email address. And sometimes students like purchasing that because it gives them access to some student discounts. Also, that net ID will grant you access to some UCI student only resources, but again, fully optional.
Okay, I think you may have answered this question. Do you need to take a certain amount of courses each quarter, or are you allowed to take them over any period of time that works with their schedule?
Yeah. So, yes, you're able to take as many or few classes that you would like each quarter. You can take a break between quarters if you need. There is one thing to keep in mind, and I'll actually direct you to a different part of the website here, and it gives you more information about the certificate eligibility and requirements. So, as you can see listed right here, all of the program requirements must be completed after the 5 years, within 5 years after the student enrolls in their first course. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. 5 years is quite a wide time span, but also can go by pretty quickly. I also wanted to, while we're here, address those two things I was talking about before, which is the declaration of candidacy and the request for a certificate. We made it pretty easy for you. You can go ahead and click on that link in order to complete those steps.
What is the maximum number of courses I could take per quarter?
That is going to vary depending on the student and how many courses they would like to enroll into that quarter. We would not recommend maxing out on all of the classes and completing it within one quarter, just because of the time requirements. Also, another thing to keep in mind is the prerequisite requirements. So to kind of provide additional information about the way that the program is laid out, keep in mind you will need to complete the 2 prerequisite courses before you can enroll into Fundamentals of Data Science. Additionally, Fundamentals of Data Science is going to be a prerequisite course for some of the subsequent courses that you see here, such as Advanced Visualization. So those are the things that you want to keep in mind when you're enrolling into your courses and also mapping out your program track.
Perfect. Just a few more questions. What is the fastest track to complete the whole certificate?
Julie, do you have some insight on what the fastest that you know of a student completing their certificate program?
Yeah, absolutely. So the fastest that I know of is 2 quarters. Now that was prior to the program changes with the prerequisites. And so if you have the prerequisites already, whether through your own knowledge or whether it's through courses you've taken before, most students, and you can see from what we have on the screen right now, that most of the courses are offered almost every quarter. And so it's completely possible to take several. I think the most I've ever seen a student take is 4 courses in 1 quarter. And I believe that was very ambitious, but it's definitely doable. So I would say that 3 is probably a good estimate if you need to take the prerequisites. But if you already have them, 2 would be the absolute fastest, 2 quarters. And that's about 6 months in a time frame.
I
So we do.
actually do want to bring up, because we seem to be receiving more than one question about how you can quickly complete your certificate program. Um, we do actually have an additional format, and it's an accelerated program. So it would be through the Global Accelerated Program. Now, one thing to keep in mind, and let me go ahead and share with that, it's actually going to be one of our international programs. And what that means is we have students who are studying from abroad and joining us. Previous Pre-pandemic, they would join us in person for some of the certificate programs that we have in accelerated format. That means they are able to complete an entire certificate program in 1 quarter, but the formatting is completely different. That's why I'm only going to briefly go over it. But if you are interested, go ahead and take a look at it under the International Programs website. You can locate our certificate programs in ACT and data science. You will notice that many of the courses, they model the ones that we currently have: practical math and stats, intro to Python programming. And after completing all of these courses, they will actually be able to receive a certificate after completing in 1 quarter. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because this is one of our international programs, but if it is something that is of interest to you, please take the time to take a look and then also reach out to us separately, and I'll be happy to provide you more information.
Great, thank you. And the final question for today, which I think you probably knew was going to happen, since we do receive this question very often, what is the difference, if any, between data science and data analytics?
Hmm, that is a very commonly asked question and something that we plan on addressing in the future as well. So look forward to that. But in the meantime, yeah, this actually ties into why we decided to change the data science program in the first place. We found that with our data science certificate program, as anybody who's in this webinar knows, data science was and remains to this day a very hot topic, and a very in demand field. But students of a variety of backgrounds, whether they have a technology background or not, whether they have data science or programming background or not, they would all be drawn to our data science certificate program. And so what we decided to, instead of leaving it open, is to really focus in on the necessary field, skills and requirements in order to be a data scientist. So with our data analytics program, let me just kind of pop over to, actually, I will take this opportunity to show you um, the list of all of the technology courses that we have, all available here. Slowly scrolling, I am plugging our courses. There you go. And then under data science, we have the data analytics for business program. Now, our data analytics for business program is going to be geared towards students who don't have the technical skills necessary, basically don't meet those math and stats or the programming requirements. And they're going to focus more on the industry tools. Now, you are still going to be going through a data science or data analytics workflow, but there'll be more of an emphasis on the tools and the techniques that are being used. It's a bit more of a high level overview. And those who are either planning on applying it towards business or working in analytics specifically, this may be a better choice for you. Now, with our data science certificate program, students will have that Python requirement because they will be doing more scripting. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't be using scripts and codes in the analytics program, but those might be more provided to you. Whereas here, students will be working more hands-on and in-depth in it. Students will actively be using tools such as like Google Colab in order to input their Python scripts, and they'll be using various machine learning libraries in both the big data course and in the tools and techniques for machine learning. It's kind of like taking it to that next step.
Okay, so I did say the last one was the last one, but we have had a few more come in. Someone is asking, can we take a mix of online and on-campus courses when we open up summer?
Great question. For one, our campus will not be opening up for the summer. So no, not in the summer. But beyond that, our public certificate courses, which is what I've been covering up until this point, our data science certificate program, our data analytics certificate program, all of these courses have been offered fully online even prior to the pandemic. So even after this, we do plan to continue offering these courses in an online format. Now, if there are students who, for like F1 visa reasons, do need to have a class that comes on campus, that's a separate question, and feel free to reach out to us individually, and then we'll be able to kind of provide additional guidance and resources for that.
Okay, I think that is all the Q&As. I am typing an answer to the last one,
Oh, thank
but
you.
that is all I see in the Q&A
Yeah,
and the
while
chat.
she's doing that, I do want to one more time share that we will be having this upcoming webinar in the field of data analytics. And like I mentioned, it will be instructors and our advisory board members. We have a great panel set up for you guys. And these are actually instructors in not only the data analytics program, but also in our data science and machine learning certificate programs as well. So if you want to even just show up to kind of pick their brains, I highly encourage you to come. Also, some opportunities to connect with UCI DCE. We have our tech blog. We also have a Facebook and our website, which I shared earlier, to explore some of the other programs and courses that we offer at UCI. I believe I answered Laura's question.
Oh, there is a question about a scholarship.
Yeah, that's a great question. I believe that at this time, they are currently accepting new applicants for the UCIDC scholarship. So at UCIDCE, we're very happy to be able to offer an in-house scholarship for our current students. So that means that you do currently need to be enrolled in one of our programs and have completed, I believe, at least one course. But let me go ahead and direct you to that part of our website. If we head back up to the top, under student resources, if you go to financial information, it has, various information, including information about our scholarships. So this should provide you all the information you need to know and give you additional information, including the link for the application. And then just to show you guys again, it's under student resources, financial information, and scholarships. If you have additional financial questions, such as the student loan programs, any TAA or veteran benefits, all of that is listed on our website here. All right. Well, it looks like that's about it for the questions that we have today. So once again, I thank you all for joining us for our data science webinar. If you have any additional questions, one, I encourage you to check back on our website so that you can either look up the information you need or also view the webinar once it's posted. Otherwise, feel free to contact us at any time, either by phone or by email, and we'd be happy to talk to you. You're welcome, Laura. All right. Thank you, everybody.